Today on Outside the Box Reviews, Clive Barker Week continues, and today we're looking at the NECA Hellraiser Series 3 Female Cenobite figure. And this is one of those rare instances, at least lately. It hasn't happened much in the last few years, but I've been able to pick up what I consider holy grail action figure. An action figure basically that was rare, hard to get, super expensive, anything like that, and that I've been wanting for quite a while. Fairly early on in my collection, I'd picked up a Hellraiser figure at a local comic shop. I managed to track down the Chatterer Cenobite, that took a while. But once I had those two, of course, the completionist in me wanted to complete the original 4 Cenobites, and this girl proved very elusive. Wave 3 did not get a heck of a lot of distribution, not a lot of them seem to have ever been made. And because of that, all of the figures in that wave command a fairly high price online, and are fairly hard to come by. However, I got lucky with an eBay bid, and I got this girl new in package for about $20, which, considering the price of action figures now, that's nothing. Previous looks at her, I'd seen her go anywhere between $70 and $90 for comparison, so very cool that I was able to get her at a good price and be able to review her finally. She comes with a piece of Leviathan. Every Hellraiser figure that NECA put out was part of a Build-A-Figure wave. So we had 3 waves. The first wave, of course, built the puzzle box. The second wave built the Pillar of Souls. And the third wave built the Leviathan crystal-looking thing. What would you call this? A octagonal double pyramid? I don't know. But very cool looking. I think it looks good almost on its own. Just kind of has the same kind of shapes you have on the box. There's a nice fade in the paint from this gold here, almost a bluish silver up at the tip. On the back side, you can see the points where it will plug into the other pieces, just basic ball and sockets, and it will all plug together. There'll be another one of these that goes behind it, and then an exact opposite of that, replica of that, going the other side, and a middle piece that had light up features and a base, I believe. So kind of cool. I don't know if I'll ever have the opportunity to pick up the rest of Wave 3 to ever finish this thing, but pretty cool. And what would a Cenobite be without some instruments of pain? She comes with this little beauty of a disastrous looking device. There's a plain silvery gray, has a little hook on there like Pinhead has, or you could hook it on the cord on his waist. Of course, female doesn't have one of those, but there's a saw blade here, some nice looking blood splatter, not too over the top, but just very cool, and this creepy little hook at the end. I assume this is going to be very delicate and be very careful not to break it, but really sinister looking. And another hook, very similar in design. This is just a plain hook with a spike on the top. That's just kind of creepy. Another little hook for the belt. Nice blood effect on here. I really like it. Very cool looking. And they did a decent job on the face of female here. And I could tell you, being a nerd, that I'm pretty sure this is based off of the first movie, not the second, and that's because of the way this neck piece is done here. I believe in the second, these middle flanges were taken out, and it was just the hoops down with the connection at the bottom. But the likeness to the actress is passable, I guess. It's not too bad. I like the look of it in general. Even if it doesn't look a heck of a lot like the actress, it has a cool look to it all its own. The bald head, the deep insets here of the skull, the heavy brow, very creepy looking. The fact that the ears, eyes, and mouth are all highlighted in that blue, and the eyes have this look of sadness to them, which is very fitting to the character. Of course, the biggest problem here is the nail through her nose. I guess there was just no way to make it in scale with the rest of the face, so it is a little on the large side, actually a lot on the large side, who am I kidding? But it's a soft rubber material, so it's pliable, so you don't have to worry about breaking it, and I think that's a plus. I'd rather have it a little large and pliable than to have it very small and very delicate. Here at the back of the head, you see a little fold down of skin and a hook pulling it to the neck part of the dress, which is pretty brutal looking. I really like that detail. As I'd already mentioned here, she has the cheek piercings coming down, flaying open her neck wound with blood dripping down. Now, when I first got this out of the package, my first reaction to this figure in general was how separate that neck wound looks. It's very obvious that they kind of glued it on there and this whole assembly is a separate piece, but the more I look at it, the more it actually seems to blend into the figure and doesn't look quite as bad as it did originally. At least maybe to me. Her torso is decently sculpted. It has the leather with all the ornate details at the top, and then it comes down to her belly here where you can see some exposed flesh. It's very hard to make out, especially in my lighting, but you have little wounds here on the lower abdomen with hooks pulling them down. But the silver is such a light color against a very pale skin. All you can really see is the little bloody wounds, but each side it's a hook coming up, going in and out, and then, yeah, pulling down on her skin. The back has some beautiful detail. The leather costume is almost sculpted to look like the bones underneath the shoulder blades appear. And then you could see it's cut open and she's ripped down to the spine. You just have the bloody spine in there with the clasp over top of it. That is a very cool looking detail. I don't remember that from the movie, but that looks cool. I love it. The arms are pretty basic. She has her partially gloved hands here with a little bit of blood on them. Not much at all in the blood department, but just a tad. And down here she has her skirt, and this is just like pinheads. It's soft pliable material, and you can feel there's just a spindle going down here to the base. There's no actual legs underneath, but some great detail. Her costume is a little just flat black for the most part, but you come down here, they add some purple looking mesh in here. Not actual mesh, but just sculpted in there, and it looks really good. And they gave it a nice wispiness to it that could either look as she's standing still or in motion, which I like. Some blue detailing here on the back as well. It's kind of weird that the lower body got a lot more paint detail than the upper did, at least in the costume. Then of course on the other side you have the suggestion of feet, but just a hard plastic bottom. For articulation, she has a cut joint at the base of the neck. At least I believe it's a cut joint. You can't really do anything with it because she has both the hook in the back and the face appliance here. They all are soft rubber, so you can move it a little bit, but it won't stay. It's just going to slide back to center. Basically, this character wouldn't have moved her head anyway. It was pretty much head articulation for the sake of tradition. But the arms are a little better than some of the other Hellraiser figures. They actually have a pin and socket. They can go out to the side and forward and back, and swivel at around the elbow, and then swivel at the hand, and then nothing else. No swivel in the torso, obviously no legs, so very minimalistic articulation on her. But really, the arms are the only part that matters, and there's enough in the arms that I feel like you can get some good poses out of her. So that is it for the Female Cenobite, and I have to say, after waiting so long to get my hands on her, I'm not disappointed. Obviously, this figure is limited by when it was made and how it was made, but also in a cool way, if they did this line now, I don't know if NECA would even get this many figures in. This is Wave 3, and granted, kind of dumb that you had to wait to Wave 3 to complete the original 4 Cenobites, but you think of a line now, if NECA did a Hellraiser line now, it would probably just be a few different versions of Pinhead. Maybe you'd get one of the other head Cenobites, but I really don't know if we would get so far into the line as we did with this line. But I know with modern toy economics, you could never get this far and this crazy in this line and have the Build-A-Figure parts and all that. I'm pretty satisfied with this purchase. I'm very happy to have Female in my collection. Now, another way you could have gotten this figure is in a box set of all 4 Cenobites and a whole backdrop environment. And at the time, a couple years ago when I was looking at this set, it would have been a more practical way to get this figure because they were going for around $120, $150. And as I said, Female was between $70 and $90 on her own. Fortunately, all the other figures were considerably cheaper to find, so it never really made much sense to get it for me, but it was always in the back of my head that that was a way to go until I found her individually carded. But I do recommend her for Hellraiser fans. If you're not really that into the movie, if you really don't remember this character from the movies, then you're probably not going to like her because she's not that great of a figure in terms of modern aesthetics, but I think she's a solid addition to my Hellraiser figure collection. I really like her. Make sure you check out Outside the Box Reviews on Facebook. There'll be a link below. Also check out Outside the Box Reviews on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. And until next time, continue to join us here all week long as we continue to look at the monsters of Clive Barker, and all month long as we keep looking at horror action figures.